Happy America. I mean Paris. We're in Paris. But I'm an American in Paris. Happy Vlogger 750, everybody. Happy me. Hello. I was gonna, switch up the location a little bit earlier because I did go outside. And then I just didn't do it because I got hungry and, wandered off to find food later than I should have. None of these things should come as surprises. Good morning, it's Sunday, Monday for you. Hope that your week's off to a great start. Mine is, I'm kind of chill, I'm kind of relaxed. I'm feeling a little bit better about the world today. I think that there's a fresh thing of pigeon poop on my windowsill that I just noticed. I'll deal with that later. Today, I thought would be a good opportunity to reflect a little bit on the last year. What did life look like a year ago? An entire year plus of vlogging behind us. And what does it look like moving forward? The moving forward part we'll talk about, later in the week. But today I thought, before we get to that, and before we talk about plans, future, the struggles, whatever, just how far things have come in the last year. And I wrote some notes. Did this today while I was hanging out over coffee. So a year ago, I was fresh off my break. I took a few weeks off in the summer. I think I took 5 weeks off actually. I just did the bike tours. I still made a couple videos here and there, but otherwise tried to sleep, go out, hang out with friends, just to have a good time, and also didn't have a great time. There's a mixture of good and bad memories with that brief period of time, but overall it was good. And part of the reason that I felt like I needed to keep making some videos while I was on the break was I needed to keep feeding the channel something. I didn't want YouTube to think I was inactive. I wanted to make sure I was making something. And as I was doing it, part of what really pushed me to come back from the break was seeing my subscriber count finally cross 1,000 subscribers while I was on break. And that was one of the things that was really hard. That entire year of vlogging plus, because a season of vlogging for me, for whatever reason, is 54 weeks long. There's a reason behind it, but I can talk about that some other time. Over the course of that 54 weeks and making 378 videos or whatever that was, I saw this really painfully slow growth rate. And I think this is something that people don't realize about YouTube. People that just launched themselves into YouTube or have recently probably don't recognize about it, is that it's painfully slow and really difficult to build a following. Speaking of, if you have connections, you have somebody that can pump you early on, hype your channel up, get a viral hit early, you can see some faster growth earlier on. But the majority of people that get started on YouTube that are working at it for months or years see very little growth, very slow for a long time. That was true of me at least. And I struggled with that to a degree as well, because even as things started to slowly pick up, it wasn't at a rate that really balanced out with how much effort I was putting into the vlog. And so that's kind of where that comes from for me as well, that feeling yes, I'm glad things are growing, but I feel like I put in so much more. It kind of originates from that. When I was making a video every day and getting no new subscribers while doing it. And I've said this before on the vlog, but there was a period, I need to go back and look at the actual statistics, but there was a 2-month period in there where I gained no subscribers. I'm pretty sure I gained 0 new subscribers while making a video every day. So it was really hard. So seeing us cross the 1,000 mark just over a year ago was hugely encouraging. And now we're at 13,000, which is pretty crazy. That's a good rate of growth over a year, even though it feels kind of small at times. It's really cool to see. One of the major commitments that I made last year was to grow Patreon. I realized that I felt very self-conscious opening up my Patreon. I was really scared. I didn't want to ask people for money and kind of struggled, even though I have no qualms with it and I don't see it as charity or begging, or it's not even really crowdfunding. It's just opening a subscription service to say, hey, if you want to support this ongoing content that you consume every day, jump on Patreon. It's a great way to do it and be a part of it. And a year ago, I was making $150 a month on Patreon, and that was it. Just $150 a month. It was definitely appreciated, but it was this isn't gonna be life-changing, and it had been that way for a really long time. And then finally I was you know what, I never ask, I never push. I did an entire year where I hardly even talked about my Patreon. I'm gonna make an effort to talk about it regularly and make sure that it's an incorporated part of everything I'm doing. I'm gonna make sure to reformat the structure of it, reformat the rewards, put everything together in a way that is more appealing, attractive, and mutually beneficial for everybody involved. And it's grown like crazy. The first few months it grew by 20+%, 20 to 30%. And I was just well, what would it look like if it grew by 20% per month over the last month for the next year? And I was looking at that and it's I could do this full time. If I put this in and it kept growing at this rate, I need to do it. And it has, which is crazy. It's overall the average, it's grown by something like 24% per month, every month. without fail. It has always grown for this entire year. Thank you so much. And it's absolutely completely changed my life. It's starting to bring us to this place where I'm able to take time to reflect, to sit down, to write, to think, and to plan for the future, to try and grow into something new and big and exciting. So that was a huge step forward, and what a massive difference it's made over the last year. Probably the single biggest difference out of everything has been that growth specifically. And especially because if you go back a year, you'll see how completely stressed out I was. I was under an immense financial burden. I was not able to keep up with my past, basically. The failed business ventures that I had, a lot of other failed investments as far as like within my own writing and everything else, and I was just being crushed by it. Working 8 to 9 hours a day doing bicycle tours in the heat, while then having to try and do some web development, other side projects, whatever I could do to bring enough money in to just pay off my bills and have a little bit left over to eat, and if I got tipped, which thank you to those of you who tipped me on bike tours last year. You made my life much, much better. And then starting to see people also come alongside through the vlog that saw that I was struggling and wanted to help. And it was really, really cool to see those changes take place, and just to feel the boon that was given me by the people that were really starting to get invested through the vlog was life-changing as well, and definitely saved my bacon more than once. But if you think about it, like a year ago, I was getting, because I was working that much and then still vlogging on top of it, I was getting 4 or 5 hours of sleep a night. And that only compounded the stress and the wear and the tear. And that's why I also need to take some time, like this week, we're in this special little like reflection week, to sleep some more, because I'm still recovering from all of that. And I think I'm going to be recovering from that for hopefully not too much longer. My dad keeps saying it's like a month for every year of extreme stress, which means I probably got another couple months ahead of me, but hopefully not that many more. And I think it all culminates in the sense that like a year ago, I was beginning to overcome this, but I still had a lot of self-doubt, a lot of fears, especially regarding this. When I went to VidCon in Amsterdam the first time, I suffered from some massive imposter syndrome going into it. Coming out of it, I didn't feel that nearly as much, but I still felt very much in the shadows and out of place, at least a little bit out of place. This year when I went to VidCon in Amsterdam, I felt completely at home. It wasn't even that I knew some people and that I had been to the conference before, but it was, again, because my channel had grown in a healthy way. Nothing massive, nothing like mind-blowing, and like nobody knew who I was still at VidCon, but the cool part about it was that walking through those doors, I wasn't looking to find sponsors. I wasn't looking to find collabs. I wasn't needing anything outside of what we had already built right here. And as Patreon had grown so much, communication and the interaction had grown so much, I don't know, I felt secure. I knew that I had a group of people that were going to watch my vlog, that were going to be excited to see it, that were going to continue to hang out, that were going to continue to be a part of this. And that's all I need. I just need this. I just need this group of people. But we've talked about that before, and obviously I would like it to keep growing. I'd like to keep sharing with more people, and we're not quite to the level that I want to be. I mean, I'm still living in a maid's chamber in Paris, which I will probably stay here for a while, because let's be honest, it'd be stupid to leave anytime soon. But even though my life is still humble and I don't have a lot of stuff and I'm not going anywhere crazy, fast, big anytime soon, I'm so grateful for where I am and where I have come. And this last year has completely changed so many things, including eradicated so many of those self-doubts, given me a different form of self-confidence. And it's definitely helped to quiet some voices that have been raging in my head for decades. Ever since I wanted to be a professional creative, ever since I wanted to make movies, to write books, it's so hard to stop doubting yourself, to really trust yourself, to trust your ability, to trust your creativity, to trust where you're going in life, and to start gathering whiffs, not only of success and like getting out of the forest, getting out of the darkness, but also having a real sense of like, I've learned through all that experience. I've learned through all those hard times. I've learned through all the missteps and failures, and I still don't have all the answers. I still don't know for sure what I'm doing, but at the same time, I really do feel like I know a lot more than I ever could have without all of that behind me. And I think that does give me an advantage, if nothing else, to keep surviving fairly well, and to just keep moving forward. And I'm very, very excited to see what the future holds. So this last year of vlogging has been wildly successful in most ways. Really, when you boil down to it, like the fact that I'm pretty much a full-time YouTuber and I don't even have 15,000. I was basically a full-time YouTuber before I even had 10,000 subscribers is unheard of. And I'm just so fortunate and really excited to see what comes next. So that was a whole long reflection on the last year. And I'm sure there's a lot of great stuff that's come through it. I've been able to travel more. I've met some really cool people. I've made some good friends. Been able to share Gustav with all of you. The live edits have been a ton of fun. Just seeing people show up and hang out while working. Super cool, because I got to do that anyways. There's so much cool stuff that's going on. So many cool things that I'm grateful to be a part of. And I'm so thankful that you're here being a part of it with me. So thank you. Yeah, I'm going to get back to today. My side task is to get really on top of my editorial calendar, and Pushan's trying to get me to commit to going traveling with him a little bit in the winter. I'm trying to figure that out with the travel going forward. I have one more trip that I'd already planned that I thought was going to be my 40th country. Obviously, it's going to be my 41st country because we've already done 40. Congratulations. The 41st, though, just to secure my place right there, I suppose. Oh, yeah, and Venice, because my patrons voted for me to go to Venice in the first ever European travel poll, which is super freaking cool. Yeah, it's really neat. So between those two, those were going to be my last trips for a while. I was really want to just stay here in Paris and then only travel if it's voted on by my patrons or like there's a really cool professional opportunity that comes out of it. Pushan's really working hard on me, though, so we'll see if I end up going on a trip with him, and I will tell you more about that as the time comes. He's back in Paris finally. You'll see him in the vlog once we kick back into like real vlog mode. But in the meantime, we're just kind of brainstorming and coming up with plots and plans. So we'll see what comes of that. That's all I got for today. I'm going to go ahead and wrap it up here. I'll see you bright and early tomorrow morning for yet more of this just hanging out and reflecting vlog. And then, yeah, happy Monday.